I'm joining us now from the Pakistani capital is political analyst Javed Rana. Javed, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Umar.
Javed, let's start with the statements made by the Israeli Defense Minister, Israel Katz. Now, the Israeli government is saying that they're going to forcefully displace Palestinians in the occupied Gaza Strip in Rafah into humanitarian camps. Well, I won't call it a humanitarian camp or camps, but rather I'd call it a concentration camp. What's the latest, Javed?
That's the precise terminology that you applied. It is a concentration camp. It is going to be another dehumanized camp where Palestinians would be starved, if they are not starved, but they once again would create conditions from where they would be expelled. Now, giving you the broader picture, because they are calling it a humanitarian camps, and then I don't understand the kind of the justification they are coming up with, that actually they want to build up a new city where Hamas doesn't have any control over the Palestinian people. I don't understand why can't they do the same thing in the northern part of Gaza? Why they can't do the same thing with the other parts of the southern Gaza? The reason is quite clear. These concentration camps are going to be set up near the Rafah border with the Egypt, and from there they would be expelled. Now, this is entire stuff is based on a writer's report, which has been pointing out that this so-called Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, I would call it a Gaza De-Humanitarian Foundation, they are going to be in charge of this project also. It is a $2 billion project, and US President Donald Trump is going to be invited, and he will make a lot of claims that he has established peace in Gaza, which means obviously on the terms and conditions of the Netanyahu. I don't think, and I don't foresee that happening. The plan actually is basically to bring all of the remaining survivors of people, survivors of Gaza near Rafah border, whatever the name you may call them. And from there, they would be part of the population would be expelled to Egypt forcibly, because Israeli soldiers are on the border, already on the border, in fact. And then part of the population would be forcibly migrated to the Cyprus. This is what the writer report says. And I don't suspect this report, because the writer has been saying that their reporter has seen the slides of this plan. And this plan has been in place for quite a long time. And they have created condition where it looks like that the plan is more matured. Now, then we know that the President Donald Trump has been saying that the people in Gaza would be punished if they don't expel Hamas. A job of the Israeli covered army. No, the people in Gaza should do that. You remember it. He's been saying it, and then he's been saying that Gaza needs to be vacated because he wants to set up their beautiful apartment on the sea lane. Now, Donald Trump, so-called ambitious man who wants to win the Nobel Peace Prize, he wants to win the Nobel Peace Prize on the debris of Gaza. It doesn't make sense. This is the plan which is very much in place. And this is, as you rightly pointed out, this is going to be another concentration camp. Something is not very different to what happened with the Jews. That they are doing the exactly same thing in a new fashion, but nobody is listening to the poor Palestinians.
Javed, let's talk about the public opinion, okay, in Europe and in the United States. Now, over the past few months, we've seen how that public opinion has changed. We've been seeing protests at main events, at events where people have gathered, at entertainment events, besides landmarks. You know, there have been protests ongoing over the past few months in support of Palestine. Now, when the war began, when Israel's attacks started against the Palestinians, we saw that the opinion in Europe and in the United States was extremely pro-Israel. They were saying that Hamas attacked Israel first, but now, after months of war, now we're almost nearing the second anniversary of this war in October. Now things have changed, don't you think so? Because, you know, the leaders are saying, for example, the leader of France, the leader of Spain, Pedro Sanchez and Emmanuel Macron, they have said that this war needs to end. But if you look at Keir Starmer or if you look at Donald Trump, they're still supporting Israel. So how is this differing? How does this connect the views of the leadership and the views of the public?
Well, so far as the public opinion is concerned, you have rightly pointed out, in the sense that the public opinion has hugely turned in favor of innocent, unarmed Palestinians who are facing genocide every next moment. So now what has been the impact? Now part of this public opinion has been suppressed, particularly in the USA, particularly in the Europe, in Germany, in France, in Britain, where by all practical means, by and large, the pro-Palestinian protest, pro-Palestinian dissenting voices have been suppressed. There has been a ban. There has been a huge crackdown by the police on pro-Palestinian protesters. So again, this doesn't mean the public opinion has changed with this crackdown. The public opinion is now largely suppressed, but obviously it is in favor of Palestinian. And it means that in years to come, in months to come, whenever the elections are held in these countries, the probability is there that in many countries there will be change of guard who will be more neutral in favor of Palestinians. But again, the bigger question that you have raised, why these political leaders are not supporting Palestinian cause, despite the fact that it is an international criminal court, it is an international ICJ. This is again a very premier international arbitration body. They have all come up with their initial findings saying that this is a genocide. But again, all these officials, these judges, prosecutors have been sanctioned by the US. The reason being is that all these leaders are compromised. They have been compromised on two grounds. First, I mean, there are dirty videos which are in possession of Mossad, and which is Israeli intelligence network. And you may recall that Jeffrey Epstein Files. There was a lot of controversy a couple of years ago, and he died after a month in a jail and under very mysterious circumstances. He was declared that he actually committed suicide, but as a matter of fact, that did not happen. Many say that he was killed inside jail because he had a lot of secrets. Now, most recently, there is also clash within the U.S. Top ruling class. Now there are more outcries within the power elite that there is a Epstein file which carries the name of the client of Jeffrey Epstein, which means who are these political leaders who used to visit Manhunt farmhouse, the big land, the infrastructure, the residential infrastructure that Epstein had built up. And all these political leaders, including Donald Trump, they were filmed secretly along with the underage teenagers. One of the teenagers, I have seen her interviews, and she's been complaining. She's a victim of Donald Trump. Now, U.S. Attorney General a couple of weeks ago said that she has seen the Epstein files, and there is a list of the clients, and she's reviewing it. And then now, a couple of days ago, she held a press conference with Donald Trump, and she said my remarks were misinterpreted. There is no client list. So, in fact, now the media, the Fox News, which has been traditionally pro-Israel, pro-evangelical lobbies in the USA, now there some of their journalists like Tucker. He's been saying that the Mossad was behind it and Mossad was filming it. Now, there are other credible reports suggesting that the former Israel's prime minister, one-time prime minister, and the former defense minister, Ehud Barak, he visited 36 times Manhunt. This doesn't make sense. Why he was visiting? Sometimes secretly he was visiting there. So basically, that was the bigger plan, how to buy the loyalties of the U.S. senators, how to buy the potential future candidates of U.S. presidency. And they did it exactly the same thing. And I think my understanding is that the European leaders are also there. My fear is that some of the Arab leaders could also be there because they are also compromised. So the day this Epstein file is fully made public, and I foresee this information is going to be leaked, I think there will be more public resentment against the Mossad, against Israel, and that would mean that in future international global power structure, the back-end support of Israel is going to degrade politically. This is a most likely scenario. And the very fact that it has been made public, that there is a lot of public talk now about Mossad, that Mossad is blackmailing the US politicians and European politicians, it means that the Jewish so-called strong lobby now begins to reduce its political influence in Washington, in Brussels, and other powerful capitals. I think it is a simply matter of time. I would say, let me say the other way around, that as it is a beginning of the end of the influence of the Jewish lobby.
Javed Rana, thank you for that analysis. It was a pleasure having you on the program today.
The growing tide of anti-Israel sentiments. What you see behind me is just tip of the iceberg of what is happening in the country. More than half of $52 billion black CIA budget is spent on espionage network in Pakistan. How would you handle it?
The US has looked upon Pakistan as an ally at one point and then as an enemy at the same time.
That is going to be the first legal reason on the basis of which he is going to be instantly ousted by the Supreme Court of Pakistan.
Joining us live, Javed Rana, who's an expert on politics and geostrategic issues.
In the world politics, which is not being driven by any moral principle, it is being driven by the hard geostrategic realities. In a broader picture, more countries would aspire to have nuclear weapons.